Hello and welcome. I hope you had a fantastic July 4th weekend. It's July 5th, and we're going to talk about the baseball you may have missed. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. Joined by Jake, Trevor, Plouffe, producer BBD out in the corner of your screen. Trevor's in Cabo, soaking up the sun. Trev, soaking up the sun. Katie and I could not remember who sung that song for like half hour. We were trying to figure it out, and then we were like, oh, we got it. So anyway, that's a memory. Jake, how you doing?
Gonna soak up the sun. James, Trevor, BBD, everyone with us. Let me be the last to wish you a happy 4th of July. I'm doing well. Pretty tame weekend. Had some daiquiris when the Yankees game got rained out Friday. Saturday, Sunday, little wedding planning, Trevor. And then yesterday went to Brooklyn to see the fireworks. So a nice little 4th, a recovery 4th as we head into our dog days of summer. We're talking all-star games, some JM events going on. Teaser. So I'm excited. And, boys, we're about the halfway point of the season. I think Yankees play 81 tonight.
Ooh, I do like that.
So that's pretty well. Trev, you're at the halfway point of the world, Cabo.
I wanted to say this, and you need to hear this, Jake.
Okay.
Eating cake every night does not count as wedding planning. So maybe just curb that a little bit.
Yeah.
We're trying to get in shape for this thing. It's, I know where your wedding's at. You're going to be naked a lot of that time. So let's reel it in now. Yeah, that's what people say. I am in Cabo. I don't know if this is the halfway point of the world. It's probably near the equator, I think. Maybe not.
Ooh.
Equators are kind of a cool thing that you don't really think about too often anymore, but that's where we're at. Some good baseball. I'm batting leadoff today, and I'm going to mention CJ Cron.
Okay.
I'm going to mention Peralta painting his nails. Like a lot of things were happening in baseball. I think we're going to like it today. James, you look really cool in your backwards hat. What's going on with you, bro?
Thanks. I ruined both the hats I wear a lot on the floorball tournament that's airing, I don't know, end of July, because I wore one and then I gave my other John Boy hat to my teammate so we could match, and then we both just sweated in them profusely. So now I have a Trash Pandas hat, and I turned it backwards because it was dark on screen. I don't know. We're all wearing similar color, like light beige shirts-ish. Jake and mine are actually kind of greenish. I don't know. I'm doing well. I enjoyed my 4th of July weekend. I did like nothing. Watched some baseball with my dad. That was fun. And now I'm catching up. And I have the IL today, and I caught up on those 3 series. And then I was doing, prepping the standings, what changed, and some things piqued my interest. And I'm very excited to hear from you guys what happened in those particular series that affected the standings a little bit. So that's where I'm at. I'm excited to learn from you.
That's what we do on this show.
Yes.
We recap the baseball that happened.
Yes. And we're going to start with the National League, as we always do, because it was the first league, and we're a Cron pod. And I'm just going to let you know right now, what's going on with the Cardinals that they have so many good players. And they can't catch the Brewers.
Brewers apparently have a good offense.
Yeah.
That's what the numbers are saying.
Last like 2.5 weeks, best in the league. You want to dive right into it? You want to start?
Let's do it, baby.
Start ripping the NL?
Rip.
Rowdy Tellez, Chris Rose rotation. Really good stuff.
Let's do it. All right. The National League, Trev, tell us what happened, will you please?
We're starting in LA, my people. The Dodgers take 3 of 4. They almost sweep San Diego. LA had won 9 straight against the Padres before the father stormed back with 4 runs off Kimbrel, literally off of his back Sunday afternoon. The Dodgers pitching staff was lights out. Catterday meowed his way to his 10th victory, going 7 2/3, one Ernie Friday night to bolster his bid to start the freaking All-Star game. A vintage Kirsch was there too. We'll talk about that. No one respects this dude. He went 7 shutty in the loss to the Padres. Miscues abound for the Padres throughout the series, though, both defensively and on the bases. And those are both areas they've been strengths for them throughout the season. Dodgers take 3 of 4 from the Pods. Moving on, big series here. Cardinals at Phillies. Phillies take 2 out of 3. They take the bread games to win the series over the Cards. Nolan Hot Boy Arenado, he did everything in his power to win the first 2 games, but the Phils overcame his cycle in Game 1 with a nice come from behind win. The same thing almost happened in Game 2. Arenado and the boys had a homer brigade against our guy Gibby. Back to back for the Cards. They went Nato to Gorman to Yepes to Carlson. They go up 5-0 in the first, but the Phils got fight, and they tie the game in the third inning 5-5 on a couple sac flies, a single, and a Munoz double. But Nolan said, "Nuh-uh, I'm not having it today." He hits the go-ahead homer in the 9th, with the Birds on the bat up for good. And then Wheeler dominated Game 3 on Sunday Night Baseball to secure the series win for, oh my gosh, yeah, the Phillies. 2 out of 3. Thought I messed that up. Moving on, Braves at Reds. Braves take 2 out of 3, went 9-1, 4-1 Braves before the Reds won 4-3 in Game 3. I call this one the It's Hard series. Dansby and the Red Hot Braves offense had the blood flowing and freed Strider and Morton rose to the occasion. That's a good one. Game 1 was all bravos. Freed shoved, and that gorgeous shortstop provided the juice. Then came Strider and his mustache to make the Reds go limp. Striking out 11 and 6. Young Thick went Yahtzee. He had an RBI double just because he wanted to. Dansby had 3 more hits in that game. Game 3 was a doozy. Braves going for the sweep. Castillo and Morton go toe-to-toe for 7 innings before the bats came alive. Drury drives 2 on a double against Jimmy's favorite pitcher, Colin McHugh. But Ozuna and Harris both go up top to tie the game in the 9th. 4 good at-bats in a row, and Almora walks it off for the Reds, and they avoided the sweep. Braves take 2 out of 3. Moving on, Brewers at Pirates. They split this one. This was a 4-gamer. It went 8-7 Pirates, 19-2 Brewers, 7-4 Pirates, 2-0 Brewers. The Brew Crew, they went to the black and yellow. They split the 4-gamer. Game 1, all about the homer. Michael Perez, he hits 3 homers on the day. That's one day after Brian Reynolds did it. That's incredible. Pittsburgh scored all of their runs off the long ball, and they staved off a Brewers rally in the 9th to win it. 19 runs for the Brewers in Game 2, and Corbin Burns on the mound tells you everything you need to know. Pirates win Game 3. Nice all-around effort. O'Neal Cruz was on full display in this game. And then Game 4, the bad man, Woodruff, who's been absolutely nasty since coming from the IL, he goes 6 shutty, and the Brewers split the series, against the Pirates in the 4-gamer. Moving on, Marlins at Nationals. The Marlins are coming, people. My dark horse, they sweep this series. They went into DC, and they've just done what they've done all season. They beat the Nats. 4-game sweep gets to the 12-1 against the Nationals this year. Trevor Rogers returned to form in Game 1. Offense backed him up. The Nats had Game 3 in the bag, or so they thought. Jesus Sanchez had other plans. He switches the game up. He ties the game up in the 9th with a go-ahead 2-run homer. Robles ties it up for the Nats in the bottom half of that inning. For the Marlins win in 10. Same, but Diffie in Game 4. Luis Garcia ties the game for the 8th for DC, but Marlins Brian De La Cruz hits a 2-run dinger in the 10th to complete the sweep. And the last series, D-backs at Rockies take 2 out of 3. Jake Snakes, they go into Colorado, and the Rocks secure the series after losing Game 1. In that game, it was the Kapowski Fest, as both Kellys did it for the D-backs. Jake, I know you like that one. Merrill goes 7 innings pitched, 1 run, and Carson hits a homer. Rocks get a 3-run shot from Rogers in the first against Keuchel in Game 2, and they never looked back. And then Game 3 was the rubber match, and CJ Crone said, "I got it, boys." 2 3-run homers to put the Rocks up. Kelsey's Rocks take the series from Jake Snakes, and that, my friends, is what happened in the National League. Little long right there.
Phallic. It all was.
Little long.
Good stuff. As for the standings in the National League, you didn't talk about them because they're an IL team, but the Mets hold on to their 3.5-game lead over the Braves. The Brewers gained 2 games over the Cardinals. Dodgers gained 2 games and are now 4.5 up on the Padres. That's the first game on the sheet, Trev. It's a little the one I'm interested in is the Dodgers and the Padres. What's going on with the Padres? You said that they had some bad base running, bad defense. They have Tatis coming back. There's articles about if he's going to play center field, he's going to play shortstop. He kind of said he will play center field if needed. And what's going on in L.A., in San Diego?
San Diego, yeah, we talked about that a little bit this morning on Baseball Today. I kept saying, I need to see it from Tatis. Like hasn't had a major league at bat since September of last year, but then Chris Rose reminded me how damn good he is. So then I remembered, oh yeah, he is really good. So that's great for the Padres. They need him to come back. They've done well without him, but their offense, especially in the outfield gyms, has been just like atrocious. So you kind of like keep Kim, I guess, at short, who's like been around league average offensively, and you could bolster the outfield. We'll see if it works. I don't know. It's not that easy just like throw somebody in the outfield, even though it is Fernando Tatis Jr. and he's a world-class, athlete. We'll see. But the Dodgers were good in this series, man. One thing like in particular, you kind of got to look at is Justin Turner kind of getting it going for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts like basically said, we're going to keep putting him in the middle of the lineup because who else are we going to put there? And he kind of like said, this is Justin Turner. Like when we need him to show up, he'll show up. He hit 2 homers in the first game. He had the go-ahead homer in the 7th off of Musgrove. He had both of them off of Musgrove. And he came in the series, James, 217 batting average left with a 230 batting average. His OPS obviously went up too. So he's getting it going maybe just at the perfect time for the Dodgers. And then Gonsolin was Gonsolin. I don't know what's going on, dude. Like, I don't know if he saw my bullpen at the alumni game, like something clicked for him. That could be the case, but he's like legitimately going to start the fucking All-Star game, dude. Like, we talked about him in the TPPs a little bit. We're like, this guy's a stud and he really doesn't have a place in the rotation, or like we thought, but he's been like the guy for them. He's been the guy that's held that rotation together. So congrats, Catterday. That's 10 W's now, Jake, on the meow after the game, dude. 10 W's. I don't know. The Dodgers just have the Padres number. One thing that we have to mention about Gonsolin going forward, you mentioned halfway point of the season. He's already thrown over his career high in innings. So you got the rest of the season to go. You got the postseason to go. I'm very curious to kind of see where they go with him, and if there is some sort of limit, if there's some sort of pitch count during the games. I don't really know, man. I don't really know, but they're gonna have to look into that. Kershaw was outstanding in the loss, 7 shutty. He's off to, he's having another great year and nobody's talking about him. It's kind of been par for the course with Kershaw as of late. Just kind of gets forgotten about, but he's an all-time great, like an all-time great left-hander. The base running stuff was like, there was a lot of different things. In that last game, Voit thought he hit the go-ahead homer, but ends up going off the wall. So he ends up on second base with 1 out instead of third base with 1 out. Hosmer, hit a single and they replaced Voit at second base anyway, but, just little stuff like that. There was some pop-ups, some miscues. And then I thought this was cool. After the game, Profar, it makes sense. He said they measure themselves against the Dodgers. Like if they want to be where they think they can be, they need to go and beat the Dodgers. Haven't done that yet, but I think this last game, them coming back like that, at least like leaves a good taste in their mouth going forward.
That's a good way to measure yourselves.
Yeah. It's an obvious statement, but like to hear someone say that is pretty good too.
Yeah. The Dodgers starting pitching, 25.2 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. Not bad.
Who had odds before the season? Dodgers starting the All-Star game in LA. I think we would have had Kershaw, Buehler, Urias, maybe Anderson. And it's looking like Tony G, man. Which is insane, and happy for the dude. Love your note about his innings pitched, because, yeah, we still, like I said, we've had a fantastic first half of baseball. We're going to have second halves. And it's going to be, if you're a Dodgers fan, you got to be circling that and saying, hey, what does the rest of his year looks like? If if other guys are healthy, does he chill out and maybe skip some starts and things like that? Interested to see. But yeah, I mean, for me, the story is more so the Padres than the Dodgers, just because, I mean, what do we really expect? We just talked about their starting pitching. They seemingly get that. They are the number 1 team in OPS and on-base percentage. They're number 2 in runs. So, like, yes, these are your Dodgers. They still are. So when Justin Turner decides to kick in a gear, that helps. If you're the Padres, their offense has kind of been middle of the pack this year. They are 20th in OPS. 12th in runs scored, but 24th in homers and 27th in steals. So, like, yeah, getting that Nando guy back, that would be huge. And again, they're a big trade deadline team for me because Trev, you know I believe in feel. You were talking about a lot of Wiener stuff in your little recap there. Not only if you can add Tatis.
The It's Hard series.
Not only if you had Tatis, but if you had another stick, now you just added 2 bats to your lineup with the pitching performances you've been getting out of the rotation all year, and some good stuff going on in that bullpen too. So, as this deadline, I mean, less than a month away to the deadline, boys. Remember deadline? We all need to circle that. Deadline week last year kicked our ass. Probably might do that again.
Yeah.
Luckily, we won't be too busy doing everything.
We have to have an event.
Doing literally everything. Yeah, we'll do something.
We have 3 events in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Before we move on past these teams, Clayton Kershaw had an awful start in Colorado. If I butter knife that out, Clayton Kershaw, I butter knife that Colorado start out, Jake, will you allow me?
Put that start just out of here.
So
yes,
some people don't know the term butter knife. On Talkin' Yanks, we do a sharp stats segment, and then we call them butter knives for when they're like not sharp. They're kind of like just playing games. Take that start out. Kershaw 9 innings pitched, 1.73 ERA with the start that he had after that. So Kershaw, people will continue to wait. If you ask the average baseball player, Clayton Kershaw, good pitcher, and he used to be. That's what they'd say, because that's just for some reason a storyline that happened. He's still one of the best pitchers in the game. For like the last 5 years, people have been saying he's not. It's nuts.
Getting overshadowed by Gonsolin.
They don't like each other.
Yeah, he's just taking
1-year
deals just for no reason.
I take that back. I have no idea if Kershaw and Gonsolin like each other, and they might like each other.
I think they're buddies. Kershaw can't believe he shows up with that beard.
Well, Kershaw
was the one who helped Gonsolin this year. Gonsolin was talking about it after the game. He was saying, like, I was erratic and I wasn't throwing enough strikes. I wasn't trusting my stuff. So he was trying to be too perfect with them. And Kershaw encouraged him to, you're going to like this, Jake, fill it up, fill that zone up, baby. And that's what he's been doing. And it's obviously worked out because Gonsolin saw me throw a few pitches in the bullpen, probably went, and then tried to recreate them. And here we are. It's not a big deal, people. It's okay.
Not a big deal at all.
Let's want to move on.
Yeah. Where do you want to go next?
Am I like super delayed right now or something? You guys tell me right now.
You just got a little frozen and delayed. I'll be honest with you.
Cabo.
Definitely sounds like I'm delayed.
Yeah. But now it looks good. Did a little shift on my screen, so I think we're good now.
As long as you guys can hear me. We'll go Cardinals-Phillies. This is a big series for the Phillies. They take 2 out of 3. They win the bread games. First game was really, really good for the Phillies because, Arenado comes off and he hits the cycle before the 6th inning, but the Phillies come back. They take advantage of an Arenado error in that one. And then Mickey, my guy, Moniak, RBI double to set up second and third. Then Schwarber plays like small ball, moves the runners in and over, and then Reese hits a sac fly, so they tie the game. And then Derek Hall, all he does is hit homers. He hits a go-ahead homer on the 6th. And Reese insurance homer in the 7th. So like great come from behind victory right there for the Phillies. Reese has been absolutely red hot. But yeah, Arenado hits for the cycle. So I guess snaps for him. My notes say that the scorekeeper gifted him the single. I don't Did you guys see it? I don't think it was a gift.
I did.
I want to hear you guys' opinion on it, I guess.
I will say this. The broadcast, when they, like, I know Talkin Baseball put it out and everything like that, because he hits a hot shot at the third baseman, and it pops straight up, and the third baseman then catches it again and then fires it to first but throws it over the first baseman. Would have been bang, bang at first, but, like, again, baseball errors, it becomes judgment a little bit, but he ripped the ball. The third baseman, if he fielded it cleanly, he probably gets him, but he did not, and he didn't. So I don't know. I think it goes either way. I think, like a lot of baseball, if you're the hitter, you're saying that's a hit. If you're the pitcher, under your breath, you're saying it could have been an error.
I'm actually interested to ask.
I think it's a knock.
It's a knock.
Well, you're a hitter. I think if you're a third baseman.
And a third baseman.
Yeah, hitter and a third baseman. But I have a theory that scorekeepers are, because with the Yankees we've seen this a lot, so with other teams, let me know if you're running into this. They're looking at the exit velo now, this official hit or error scorekeeper, because if a ball gets hit like over 95 miles per hour, even if it's right at the guy, they've been giving him singles in Yankees games. I don't know if that's league-wide, but I showed you a whole montage of them, Trev, remember? It was bizarre.
Yep. Oh, yeah, you never released that montage.
Nah.
One day.
Well, that's mean. I don't want to do it.
One day.
I like the sneaky
game
theory of
2.
MLB wanted more hits, so there's an easy way to make more hits.
Yeah.
It's less errors. Bang.
Game 2 was the back off Gibby, who actually settled down after that, which was nice to see. Arenado just put the team on his fucking back. Starts that off, and then in the 9th, hits the go-ahead home run. So 3 homers in 2 days for him there, and they get the victory 7-6. And then Wheeler in game 3 just came 7 shutty, like just doing what he's done all season. He has a 1.67 over his last 12 fucking starts. He's got a better ERA than he did last year when he finished as a runner-up in the NL Cy Young. Like, this guy, I remember when he signed his contract, everyone was like, you can't give that guy money. He's been worth every single freaking penny. So he provides the Phillies with a win over one of the most complete teams in the National League, of series victory. Really, really into what Wheeler's been doing this year. And then Hoskins, during that game, he had the go-ahead solo homer in the 4th, and Real Muto 2-run homer himself. Like I said, Reese, 4 homers in 5 games on Sunday nights. He's hitting .341, 9 homers, and a 1.1er over his last 25 games. So go Reese, go.
Phil's got the Nats coming up for 3. Get hot, Phillies. And then I'm excited for this one. They're doing they've got 4 in St. Louis. So I'm excited to see if the Birds bite back in a little bit. But good for the Phils without Rice Harper, right?
Yeah. He's hurt. Broke his thumb. Right.
The Phillies got to figure out, because Ranger Suarez went on the IL. Like, they got to figure out some of their pitching and how they're going to get through all this stuff. We'll see, man. They keep winning on their top, though. 20-9, I think I saw they are with him as manager. But I think that included, like a 12-game winning streak or something like that.
Helps.
That helps.
Was the last back-to-back the Yankees in
Red Sox
in 2006?
Oh, I thought it was the Red Sox did it against.
The Yankees. The Red Sox did it against the Yankees. The Yankees started a rookie pitcher, Matt DeSantos or something like that. I was working at a pool club when I had it on, and it sucked.
So it was the Red Sox
did it to the
Yankees.
2016.
You did your Jimmy Forgot a Decade and did 2006.
Oh, then that's not the one I'm talking about. It happened.
You're thinking of Chase Wright.
I'm thinking of Chase Wright in 2006 or 2007. It happened since then.
Chase Wright was that, wasn't it?
2006 or 7.
Yeah. It happened in 16 as well, Jake?
Oh, okay.
I feel like I remember one happening between now and then, but I'm trying to find it.
April 22nd, 2007. I remember when that happened. I was like, this sucks. And it was a rookie pitcher, and it was like his second ever start.
The White Sox might have did it in 2020, but did that ever happen?
No, 2020 doesn't exist. Oh, you won the World Series though, Dodgers fans. Please don't get upset.
Oh boy. And I want to mention this quick. I know we're already past him. Machado, I love some third base defense. Machado made an awesome play on Trea Turner running up the line, which if you want to see some good third base action. Yeah.
I'm going to make that my award. Remind me. It has to do with TT.
Okay. Teaser. Big teaser right there.
Teaser.
Big old teaser.
Okay. You guys want to move on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Braves at Reds. Braves take 2 of 3. They almost they wanted to sweep. That's why I said it's hard. It's hard to sweep series.
Well, especially when you put a micro penis on the mound.
You
can't be throwing a micro penis.
I wasn't gonna say that.
In the It's Hard series.
Allegedly, bro. Not 9-1 Braves in game 1. Fried does his thing. Dansby has been absolutely doing it. Yeah, go ahead, Jim. You can go. Keep going.
No,
I love this.
No.
It worked out too perfect that you named the whole series the Wiener series, and then the one pitcher who got the Get Hard, and the one pitcher who got was McHugh. Whose wife said I
got.
Yeah, for those who are new listeners, Colin McHugh's
wife said I had a micro penis.
Right.
And the only way she knew that was by comparison. So me and Colin both micro penises.
Oh, that's.
We're not.
Oh my goodness!
Just saying, takes one to know one. So where'd you see it?
Tweeted that, yeah.
Kirkchen tweeted. Game 1, Fried. I mean, is Max Fried the best pitcher in baseball too? Like, my goodness, dude, he's been lights out. 7 innings pitched, 1 run, and then Swanson was 0 for 16 coming into the series. He had 4 hits in game 1. They had a 3-run homer in the 7th, 2 more doubles. He's hitting 341 in his last 30 games. That was coming after the first game. They did the damn thing. Then Strider came, did it. He touched triple digits, guys, on his fastball 14 times. He threw a pitch in the 3rd inning at 102.4 miles per hour. It's the fastest strike not put in play by I don't know what the hell that stat is. But anyway, he threw a pitch 102.4 miles an hour. Afterwards, he said, I did see it on the gun. It was pretty wild. That's fast. Yes. Strider, 102 miles an hour is fast. Some other notes on what he's been doing. He's got a 36.2% K rate, which currently ranks among the top 2% of pitchers across Major League Baseball, and that includes relievers, which is really good. Austin Riley had the homer and the RBI double. They didn't need much because the Braves pitching was nasty. And then the game 3 was kind of like a really fun game. That's when McHugh gave it up. Reynolds had a game tying RBI single, and then Drury had the go-ahead 2-run double in the 8th. So the Reds are feeling good about themselves. This is after 2 really good pitching performances by Castillo and Morton. But then, top of the 9th, Ozuna hits a 2nd homer of the game to put him within 1. And then Harris, the 2nd, who's been freaking lights out for them in center field, he ties it in the 9th. So you're thinking, oh, here come the Braves. They're going to do it. And then in the bottom of the inning, Minter just had a rough one, 4 straight batters to reach. 4 good at bats, I guess you'd say. I think there was a Joey Votto walk. India got hit by a pitch. I think Pham had a good at bat too to start it off. And then Almora just ground ball single. And that was it. And they avoid the sweep. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to sweep, even against the Reds.
It's hard to sweep, man. Yeah, I mean, some of that Spencer Strider stuff is nuts. Charlie Morton, the Salt Man, his last 4, 26.2, a 1.35 ERA. And that being said, those are their 3-4 guys right now because, like you said, Max Fried has been electric pretty much all year, and Kyle Wright is having a great season. So the Braves, I know when we do kind of best rotations, we skip over them, but that's a team that has every argument, man. They can shove, and it's part of the reason they went nut job in June, and I think they're going to carry it out the rest of the way.
Did the Braves have the most players from their city?
Definitely.
It's because Michael Harris is from Georgia.
Yeah.
So now they have, is Darren O'Day active right now? because he's from Georgia. Will Smith is from Georgia. You have Olsen from Georgia, Dansby from Georgia, Michael Harris from Georgia. I mean, we're not talking about like, I don't know, L.A. There's a lot of baseball players from L.A. So maybe the Dodgers have more people from L.A. I'm not sure, but that's pretty cool. If you're a Braves fan, you just add another guy from the area.
I like that.
Michael Harris the second.
Thank you.
Not Junior, the second.
Michael Harris the second, yes.
Deuce.
How does that work? That must mean there's a third, right?
No, there's rules about it. So you can be I read this because I named my son James. He doesn't have the same middle name as me, so he can't be the second. But I think the rule is, I don't know if anyone follows this, but the rule is if it's the same first name, middle name, last name, like literally same name, then it's the second, the third. But if it's just the same first name, you go Junior and that. I don't know if everyone follows those, but I think those are the technical rules of it.
The guideline, theoretically.
Yeah. Y'all.
I had a friend growing up named John Franklin Lawson. He was the fourth. So there have been three other generations of a John Franklin Lawson. I don't know if he has a son or if he's named him John Franklin Lawson. I lost touch with this guy.
Yeah.
But
a lot of pressure.
That's a little too much.
It's a lot of pressure.
Reach out.
I have a friend who is the third, and he knows he's gonna make it the fourth.
I like that. If he's in on it, I like it.
He's in on it.
Try.
Yeah.
He's trying.
Yeah. You got to make sure you're potent.
Not actively. But.
Anything else? What other series do we have? We
have Brewers-Pirates. We have three more to go through. So we can kind of hit them quick. Brewers-Pirates, they split the series. We have the two games that the Brewers won. You gave 19 runs to Corbin Burns. So he did his thing. And it was funny. He went 6 innings pitched with 1 earned run. And after the game, he said his stuff wasn't good. Yeah. He's got a lot of work to do. So that sounds about right for him.
Bully ball. So
you win that one. And then the last game, Woodruff comes back. He's been absolutely lights out. He goes 6 shutty. Their pitching was on display a little bit here. The Pirates did, they won a couple good games. The first game was the Michael Perez 3 homer game. Brian Reynolds did the night before. It's the third time they've done it this month in the month of June, which is kind of crazy. But they needed all of those. Hauser exited that game with an injury. So the Pirates took advantage of that. And they won game 3 also. More homers. Chavez go ahead, 2-run homer in the third. And O'Neal Cruz had a homer that game. And Ashby went 3 2/3 and 4 earned runs. So when they had good starting pitching, the Brewers won. But the Pirates, you kind of got to give them credit, going toe-to-toe with, arguably one of the best teams in the National League.
Yeah, for a lot of the young kids in Pittsburgh, that's like a series you get up for, I guess, because what else are you getting up for? But if the number one team comes in for 4 games, the getting swept, 4-game sweep's embarrassing, and then to fight back and split it, that's a win in Pittsburgh, I think. I don't know if they're celebrating it. I think they should be.
Yankees coming to town. Joe's McFly.
Well, Cruz is just nasty. He had there was a play in game 3, which they won 7-4. It was like, I want to say it was the second inning. It was early in the game, and they had a drawn-in infield, and Yelich up there. Runners on second and third, I believe, which I don't know why they had the infield drawn in. But Yelich hits a liner to Cruz's backhand side. He's just so damn tall and lanky. He just gloved it. And the runner on third base, for some reason, just kept going. Like it was a contact play. I don't know what was going on, but they doubled it up. But that would have changed the game a little bit there, given the Brewers the lead, or at least the share or at the tie, depending on what the runner on second did. But he's nasty, dude. He had a ball that was a screamer into the stands too. Like he's just he's so toolsy. Like everything looks like so, I don't even know the right word for it. It's majestic. I guess that's the right word. I don't know. I like watching him play a lot.
Vogelbach getting revenge on the Brewers. 500 OBP. No extra base hits, though. Took it a little easy on the base paths. Yeah. Anything else? Marlins sweep the Nats?
Marlins sweep, dude. They freaking sweep the Nats. I had the note 12-1 against them this year. 12-1, dude. That's how you get things done. I think they're really close to 500. Jimmy, what are they? They're like 2 games under 500 now.
Yeah.
I mean, look out. Trevor Rogers had it going, which is nice to see because he hasn't had exactly the greatest year. Here's a note that I did not know. You know who John Birdie is?
Oh, yeah. Sure do. Birdie, rocking
20
everywhere.
Stolen bases since June 1st. 20.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Time to go,
That's
bro.
so many.
Yeah.
Love that, man. Pablo Lopez looked good in this one. He took a no-hitter into the 7th.
Casual.
Not a great start, but my notes say it's a step in the right direction. He was really good in April, May, and then really bad in June. So to get this one, 6 1/3 with 2 earned runs, you kind of got to like that for the Marlins. But that's what we've been talking about with these guys. Like they can pitch, and if they hit enough, like they're a scary team, especially like in a playoff series where you're going. You can pare your pitching staff down to 3 or 4 guys and go for it. I mean, I don't know, man. We could be looking at a scary Marlins team at the end of September. I don't know.
Let's get those fish above 500, and let's start talking about the NL Beast, because I'm talking about the AL Beast in a little bit. My goodness. Good for them. That Nats stat is equal parts cool and damning. So you're just whooping on them, huh?
What does that say about their record against everyone else? No.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, and the Marlins had to work for this. It wasn't just like an easy sweep for them. And in game 3, down to the last strike, Sanchez has to go ahead 2-run homer. And then Robles ties it for the Nats. But then they go ahead and score 3 in the 10th. The Marlins did on an Anderson go-ahead RBI single. So they work for that one. And then game 4, same thing, man. De La Cruz hits a go-ahead 2-run homer in the 10th after Garcia for the Nats tied the game up in the 8th. So they worked for these. It wasn't easy. And I think that's even better. When you sweep a series and, you go to 10 in the last 2 games, but you get the job done, I think that's – I think the Marlins are looking at themselves being like, okay, we can be this team. We could be guys.
I think that was a big boy homer by De La Cruz too. Go fish. Go mess shit up.
You guys will love this. Wendell came back and, kind of replaced Chisholm now that he's on the DL or the IL, excuse me. Okay. So Joey Wendell getting back in the fold there. But they need Jazz back. They have the whole team at full strength. I mean, I'm kind of the only Marlins truther in the baseball world, but whatever.
All right.
And then the last series, DBacks-Rockies. Do you want to go into that?
What do you got?
Quickly, yeah. We're I'm gonna set timers.
All right, Rockies take 2. I'm breaking up on you guys. I love you so much. The Rockies, they take 2 out of 3. They won the last 2 games this series. I told you guys it was the Kapowski Fest in game 1. Merrill Kelly does it. I mean, Carson Kelly had a homer. I just had to add that in because it's funny, and I like Kelly Kapowski. David Peralta's daughter painted his nails, which is an interesting thing because he started to go off after that. So that's nice to see. A little bit of nail polish went a long way. But the Rockies took the last 2 games. Brendan Rodgers, 3-run homer in the first. Connor Joe, 3-run triple in the 4th. That's nice. They had a 3-run inning and then 2 4-run innings. So you're going to win a lot of games when you put up 11 runs like that. And then the last game, D-backs had it, man. Up 5-0. Peralta hits the grand slam in the 5th, put him up 5. But then TJ Crone said, "Fuck that!" 3-run homer in the 8th, and then he hits or 3 homer in the 6th, and another one in the 8th to put him up, and they win the series. Nice job.
Couple 3-runners from CJ Crone to win the game. Not bad. He's a beast, man.
Yeah, Goldie's kind of ruining his any recognition he would get.
Damn it, Paul.
Come on. All right, let's move on to the AL. Jake's going to do the AL recaps brought to you by SeatGeek. Did we do that one? SeatGeek. We're going to a game this week. We're sitting in seats.
Big time.
We're a bunch of geeks. SeatGeek. Use code Talkin, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Code Talkin. They got the best seats. They got the best way of telling you if you're getting a good deal or not. Bubbles.
Yep.
Red, good, green, bad.
They passed.
Love the bubbles.
I said it opposite. I was testing everyone.
Yeah. They passed the
green good.
The company, the John Boy Media Company test is, can Jake use it? And I can. I bought some SeatGeek tickets the other day, so go check them out. Code Talkin, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Thank you, SeatGeek.
All right, let's do it, Jake. The Baseball Boogie. That's what the song's called. As you tell us what happened in the American League.
Hope you boys don't mind if we head to Space City, H-Town, city where the top drops, city where the drink stuff, Kelsey Winger. The Astros sweep the Angels, and that's obvious at this point. And it was just a total butt whipping until the final day. We got a tight game. Jeremy Pena, you might hear more about him later. A little two-homer day, including the walk-off. By the way, the Angels got embarrassed at the party. If you haven't seen the play with Altuve throwing to Maldonado, tripping up Taylor Ward at first base, kind of an all-timer. The Angels didn't hit at all. Only 4 players had hits for the Angels. Meanwhile, the Astros did their thing. They slashed .314 with a .657 slug. The Astros are one of the best teams in baseball. Pena. Oh, you'll hear about him. The Yankees, they took 2 out of 3 from your Cleveland Guardians. The Yankees, a little doubleheader day after the rainout on Friday. They blow them out game 1 on cold day, 13-4. Matt Carpenter. We might have to talk about this guy more, Trev. He has a 2-homer day. One's off a position player. Get over it. Second game of the doubleheader, Yankees win 6-1 as well. Are you the one they call Cortez? Nestor gets his season back in line after a couple mid-starts, for lack of a better term. And then our guy Sticks. He helped salvage the series. 2-0 Guardians. They shut out the Yankees before the 4th of July. They had an off day. Neither team really cares that much. Cleveland's happy to get the win. Yankees, they just win series. That's it. That's all they do. Blue Jays and the Rays. Speaking of the AL East, the Rays take 3 out of 5, your classic 5-game weekender set. The Blue Jays took the first 2. Jimmy, your boy Yusei Kikuchi, his 3rd quality start of the year. You like that?
Well,
not really. He doesn't. 9-2, Blue Jays in the second game, but then the Rays turn it on. We got to start talking about Harold Ramirez. It was Ramirez. He's starting to hit for them. Isaac Paredes, everyone's favorite first name. And then the Wizard of Boz. Maybe circle that one. He has a 6 innings pitch, 1 earned run start. Thomas Hatch, great early settler name. He got rocked. 10 earnies in 4.2. Sorry you had to bite the bullet, kid. McClanahan drops Dick. Gaussman has to come out of the game with some ankle stuff. So that's something to watch in Blue Jays land. Rays take the final 3 and take 3 out of 5 in the series. Twins take 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. And hey, Orioles are playing a good brand of baseball. So shout out to the Twinkies. 3-2, 4-3. Joe Ryan, Trev thinks he's hot. He has a good start for them. Buck Daddy with the walk-off in that game. The Twins been walking off everything. They walk off the next game. Miranda with the walk-off single. Orioles, they take the final game. Will, 6-inning, 1 earned run. Yeah, Rougned Odor, his teammate. He hits a big homer in that one before Mancini and Mountcastle. Ho, belly to belly. Twins take 2 out of 3. And then your Seattle Mariners. They take 3 out of 4. Have they been playing good since the brawl? Did they spark it? Maybe. I don't know. You're playing the Athletics, so you better take 3 out of 4. The game the Athletics won. Our guy Cap, James Caprillion, he gets his first win of the year. We like that. Robbie Ray drops some dick. Blackburn and Kirby had a pitching duel in the 3rd game. Little walk-off. Toro! Where's Toro? Shut up, Verlander. Tigers-Royals is your last series. Royals take 2 out of 3. Again, this series doesn't have much for us in the standings, but some guys with good performances. Our guy Keller with 6 shutty. Vinny Pasquantino, huh? He got called up. He hits his first career homer in his 3rd game for Vinny P. And then Riley Green, another super prospect. He hits the back-to-back walk-off homer in the game the Tigers win. Royals take 2 out of 3, and that's what happened in the American League.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to put 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock for each team if we're going to talk about every series, because we got to tighten this show up. So you can guide us, Jake, where you want to go first.
For each team or series, or give me the rules again.
Series. I don't know. We can't do 40 minutes on a league.
Okay. Cron guys, we'll do the Astros because I think there's 2 things that need to be highlighted. The Houston Astros, as we've tried to tell you for the last few weeks, are one of the best teams in baseball, non-negotiable. Their bullpen, that I think is currently their team weakness, just because their starting pitching and their lineup is so good. They go 8 shutout innings in this series, and they are one of the best in baseball. So it's more complimentary to the rest of their team. What Javier is on right now, talk about the pitching version of a heater. Another 14 Ks for you, kid, in 7 innings pitched. And, man, on the other side of the coin, the Angels are in their final death spin. I told you guys I want some, Ohtani. I want Ohtani trade rumors. Let's get there. Let's get there. Because I think I told you guys from the fight, the Mariners-Angels brawl, both teams were looking for a little bit of a spark. I think the Mariners caught a little bit of the juice and have a better roster right now, while the Angels were kind of starting a death spin, and now I think they're in the end game. Shout out Avengers right now. Yeah.
Angels only had 8 hits in the 3 games or 4 games?
3 games.
3 games.
God.
Trea gets worse. Only 4 players had a hit. And they had a 49.5% K strikeout percentage. 49.5 strikeout percentage.
That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, as a team. That's insane.
Javier gets 14, and then Valdez gets 13 in 6 innings pitch. And I was like, okay, what did Urquidy do? Because it's not on our notes. 6 innings pitch, 8 Ks. I mean, that is, and then you add the relievers in. My goodness, dude. That's how you get swept right there.
Astros are 9-1 in their last 10. They're good. They have the easiest strength of schedule of all the playoff teams. I think they're gonna have a lot of fun in the second half of this season.
They good. And then
not that we're talking about this, but Jordan walked him off yesterday too.
Not talking about it. That did happen. And if you haven't seen it, the Altuve throwing to Maldonado to get Ward at first base. An all-time baseball weird one. I can try to describe it with words. Altuve looks at first to Ward, who Gurriel is in front of him, the first baseman, and Altuve is looking at him like, I'm going to throw, and Ward thinks he's kind of goofing around, so he puts his hands up all excited. Maldonado had snuck behind him and is on the bag. Altuve throws over. Ward kind of alarmed by the whole process. Ball gets caught, he gets tagged, and the first base coach, an all-time first base coach blunder.
Awful. I mean,
does he get fired on the spot? I think. Firing everybody else is the Angels.
I mean, is he even the first base coach? Is first base coach suspended? That's the only rationale I can have. But if you're the first base coach there, the pitching coach didn't catch the pitcher tipping the pitches. Trout had to do it. First base coach doesn't catch this. I know I've been looking at the Angels Twitter responses and their Reddit pages, and it's kind of like, what does our coaching staff do? Is a sentiment I've seen amongst some of them. So it's, that is so. Oh,
hello.
I didn't realize I was going to be. I didn't realize it came with a
Is that your alarm?
No,
for real?
Dude, I'm at stopwatch.com. First time I did the count down at the count up. That was awful.
Stopwatch.com.
Well, Google took away their stopwatch.
Come on,
pisses me
Google.
off. Anyway, Astros good, Angels bad.
Our Yankees, speaking of best teams in baseball, they go to Cleveland. We're rained out Friday. We play a doubleheader. And yeah, the Yankees let it eat. Carpenter, Trev, I don't know if you've looked at his stat page recently, but it looks like something not even out of a video game. It looks like blitzball stats. Rizzo, Stanton goes over the 20 homer mark. The Yankees, first team with 3 guys with 20-plus homers. No other team has 2.
The entire AL only has 3 other. Only 6 guys with 20-plus homers, and the Yankees have 3 of them.
So, yeah, I mean, the Yankees opened it up when they needed the insurance runs. In the final game, they got them. Cole was good. Nestor was good. And then on the Sunday day game, they sat Judge. They sat LeMahieu, too. They didn't play their A lineup. They had the off day on July 4th. I'm a huge double rest day guy now, Trev. If you can sneak some double rest, I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. My life is double rest days. And, yeah, I mean, I hate to be rude to the baby Guardians because I do like them, and shout out to our guy Sticks for dropping it. But this was like a very clear example of like, oh, the Guardians, they're a good team, but just completely outgunned. The Yankees are 5-1 against them this season, and I think they would have been 6-0 if they had played their A lineup the final day.
Sticks is cool. It's a battle of curveballs. Monty and Sticks both have they're in the top 5 for curveball, like whiff percentage and strike rate and all that. So it was a fun game to watch. Naylor's good.
And good start for McKenzie after 2 bad starts against Minnesota in a row. You know, he had his ERA down to 2.96. Then he ran into Minnesota twice, got 6 earned runs and 7 earned runs. This time, getting back on track. So we love Tristan. Attaboy. I'm happy they sat all those guys. That's nice for him. He probably would have carved him up anyway.
No, he looked good. The Yankees only had 1 hit. They stood a better chance with Judge and DJ in there, but.
The little Yankees fun stuff, double header, so you get the 27th man. They call up Andujar. He starts both games, and he'll with every trade line, he becomes a good piece of fodder. So we'll see if anything happens there. Brewers, Blue Jays and Rays. We'll keep it in the AL East. One of our classic 2022 5-game sets. We love that. Blue Jays, man, you boys know I called them out a couple episodes ago. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here is that the Blue Jays come in, they win the first 2 games. Let's go. Blue Jays in Toronto, double Vladdy bobblehead. And then they lose the final 3 to the Rays. I mean, you essentially get swept.
Yeah, I mean,
like mentally you get swept.
They had a tragedy happen, and I think pretty tough times. So thoughts, prayers. I don't really pray, but thoughts out to them. Like coaches had to leave in the middle of the game because first base coach, teenage daughter tragically died, and I think people could sense it, and they didn't do a post game. They left. They were like disinterested. So. That's horrific and terrible, and I think it might have sank into some of the clubhouse vibe. I don't know if you didn't hear about that, it's awful. But they left the game halfway through that 3rd game or 2nd game and didn't do a post game. I think it was overcame the series more than like the baseball in a way. Kikuchi, quality start. Okay. Don't like that because he only has 3 on the season. His game log is awful.
Yeah.
Like his best start is 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, and he's got 2 of them. I just don't want to go hard on the Blue Jays, or it's like a pretty tough time for them.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can talk about the baseball, and it's good you mentioned that, but I was more so spinning it to the Rays, and the thing that I've been tough on the Rays is their hitting, and they've got a couple guys now that are starting to click, and it actually changes their outlook. What Isaac Paredes has been doing, what Harold Ramirez has been doing is significant. With our guy Wander Franco coming back, it changes the way I look at the Rays, which I've been tough on them. But they sprinkled a little bit of their Rays magic, and we're good organizations, bad organizations. They've now tapped into a couple guys that 2 lineup spots in a lineup that had been pretty empty plus Wander back. That's I'm circling that for Tampa as like significant for their season.
We still got a lot of baseball left to play, man. Still got a lot of baseball left to play. If the Tampa Bay Rays, like you're saying, could fill those lineup spots and kind of get hot offensively, like they'll find their stride on the pitching side of things. They're still scary, dude. Like you said, they're not going to. This is going to be the year that everything catches up to them. I'm not buying that shit. It's not.
Just Wander being switch helps them so much too. Just getting to put a switch hitter at the top of the lineup again. And then they're pitching. Who's still got to come back? Is Glass now? What's his update? Is he throwing?
He was throwing.
There's a big update, right?
He was thrown off the mound in Tampa. I don't think they have a timeline for him yet. Don't know.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no.
Good job by the Rays. Quieter that time. Volume control.
Okay. Trevor Plouffe. Your Minnesota Twins. They win 2 out of 3. The walk-off Twins? Is that what we're calling them?
Needed it big time.
And again, the Orioles, no slouch. You might hear a little bit about them in a little bit. Orioles are playing a good brand of baseball. Twinkies, Buxton walks it off. Love me some Buck Daddy. You know that. And then, they walk off the first 2 games in the series, and I think the bigger story in Twinsland is they're starting I think Winder had a rehab assignment. They're trying to get some more reinforcements to try to keep their season going. Our guy Miguel Sano on the rehab wagon. So they win a series at home against the Birds, which, don't get me wrong, the Orioles are better, but you still, if you're trying to be a first-place Minnesota Twins team, you got to do that.
They're just feisty. They're not a walkover Orioles team.
And they've been playing well recently.
I think now they're starting to not because they just lost 2 or 3 series in a row.
Let's see.
But I think they're going to give you a game.
Since June 11th, this comes from a noted baseball reporter, Jared Carrabis. The Baltimore Orioles have won 13 of 22. Only the Astros, Yankees, and Red Sox have better records in the AL over that span. So you got to respect what the Birds are doing.
Because they were playing 500 ball the next 2 months. But they just lost 2 series, right? Well, they beat the Rangers. Can't talk about that yet. Twins, Trev, are they like what's to do and what's the deadline? What's the pain areas that they're like we need this and this and this? Like is it simple?
I don't really know because when I think about their starting pitching, I think they need help. But if you go look at the statistics of their starters, they've actually been pretty good. I mentioned this morning with C. Rose. I mean, look at what Archer's done through 15 starts. He's at a 3.08. I mean, Joe Ryan's back doing his thing. Smeltzer's actually been really good. And Sonny Gray, who's always kind of an enigma for me, he's been excellent too. So I could see them adding another starter. But I think the main thing, if you look around Twitter sphere with the Twins, is, bullpen help, which a lot of teams need bullpen help. I think that's the area where they'll go after first is in the bullpen. And if they can get one of those starters, we'll see. I don't know how to feel about the Twins. You guys have your team, they're one of the best teams in baseball. The Twins have been playing really good, offensively. If you look at their OPS plus, I think they're 4th in the league in that, which is also kind of shocking to me. So on paper, I look at them and I'm like, I'm not sure if this can hold up, but it has. I mean, halfway through the year, and they're pitching decently and they're hitting the ball, and they're in first place. So talk kind of badly about them. I don't know. I guess soft division, you could say. But if I was to guess, the first move they make is a bullpen piece, and if they can get a starter, then they'll try to do that as well. But they're doing everything they can to see if they can get Carlos Correa to stay, I guess. I don't know, man. They're doing it. They're in a really good position to win the AL Central. It's a little weak. We know that, but Every time I think like they're about to like go on like a massive like downward spiral, they just don't. So when you got Byron Buxton kind of doing his thing, walking that pitch off like down and away, just kind of going down and getting it. He's, obviously he's one of the best players of baseball, but I would say, it's pitching for them.
I reserve the right to change my mind, but I believe the Twins will win that division.
Sure seems like it right now.
Could change tomorrow. Get splashy at the deadline, Twins. You're playing with house money, right? Like, think about last year. We're talking about, is Buxton leaving? Did they miss their window? And now you're back atop the Central? Like, go get some pieces. Come on, Minnesota. And I remember us looking up their GM's contract. That was fun. Mariners Athletics. Athletics are not really a story, except the one guy that will be a story in the coming weeks. Montes gets pulled with an injury. They checked in on him. He's supposedly all right. If you're the A's, a little scary because he's supposed to be your trade asset. And scary for any player getting hurt, but supposedly they've gotten good news. Outside of that, Mariners, 3 out of 4. I think they are 5-2 since the brawl, something like that. Hey, it's something. It's better than what they were doing. Again, when we get to this first half point of baseball, it's exciting, and then you're like, oh, shoot, there's still a second half. Mariners, I think, are the only hope in the AL West to kick into gear. There's only so many teams you can really circle in the American League that you're like, they've got a chance to go. I mean, it's them or the White Sox. So Mariners, I think as a baseball fan, even Houston fans, I think should be rooting for the Mariners to kick into gear a little bit so Houston can kind of feel something along the way. But they take 3 out of 4, get a couple Kirby, Ray with some kind of special starting pitching performances.
The Mariners are now? Go ahead, Trev.
Oh, I had somebody tweet at me. They're 11-3 since I pronounced them dead. The Mariners are, and I was like, I know they've been playing well. Let me go see. I mean, most of the wins have come against Oakland, and then the Angels, and also Baltimore. So really soft spot in the schedule. I still believe they're dead. Would love nothing more for them to prove me wrong. Do like the Undertaker thing, like come back from the dead, and maybe the brawl was what they needed, but I think it's more, and I'm sorry, Mariners fans, I think it's more of like just a soft spot in the schedule. I want them to be good. We all do. We've been talking about it for 2 years now. Happy they're winning now, but I think more it's just kind of the part of the schedule they're in. Maybe I should have waited till after this to say that.
Julio Rodriguez.
2 more homers, right?
15. Remember when we were like, it's a solid stat line. He's swiping bags. He's got a league average OPS. 15 homers and 20 stolen bases at the 81 game mark. So, on pace for a 30-40 rookie season. And that OPS is up to 824, a 139 OPS plus. He's entering that kind of rare air territory for young baseball players.
I remember Mariners fans tweeting at us early when his numbers didn't look so good, saying he had an extended run of some tough calls and bad luck, like hard contact outs, and the numbers are starting to match the StatCast a little better.
It's gross.
Trev, I'm looking at their schedule, the Mariners, and like the good news is there's a lot of soft left because their division stinks. They got 4 against Toronto coming up. They beat the Padres yesterday. They got 4 against Toronto. They do have Houston and the Yankees coming up through July. But after that, I mean, it's a lot of Angels. It's a lot of Texas, a lot of Oakland. They got the Nationals. Then it gets tough again towards the end. But I don't know. I think that they are similar to where they were last year in that I won't pronounce them dead. I don't have them getting a wild card spot, but I have them not being mathematically eliminated until like the final 2 weeks where like you keep rubbing your hands like, well, if they and like a fun September, because they just have a lot of teams that they're better than left on the schedule.
So they're essentially the Walking Dead. They're a zombie, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that for them. Julio Rodriguez is an absolute fucking stud. And C-Rose proposed this hypothetical to me this morning. I'm going to push it back to you guys. Quick on this because I know we're running out of time. Acuna deal gets offered to Julio Rodriguez right now. Does he take it?
No.
Probably not.
21 years old, 80 games under his belt, $100 million in your face. That's going to be really hard to turn down, right?
Wasn't for me.
I don't know. I would take it. If it's just no extended years, but if it's just to buy out the arbitration, I would take it. The thing is, they're going to want a year.
Yeah, doesn't Ronnie's go like through age 30? That's the thing that's holding me up.
He's got a bunch of option years on it. Yeah, I mean he wouldn't want to do that. But again, you put 100 guaranteed in front of some 21-year-old kid's face.
If you could get it,
on the Mariners, I'm doing that right now.
Trev, you know what he wants?
Trying to
go look at that Tatis contract. That's what Julio wants, bro.
Yeah,
but they don't have to offer him that. The Padres didn't have to offer him that.
That's a weird move,
by the way. So. If
they buy out his arbitration, guarantee $100 million, I'd do that, and then make your money in free agency when you get there. But that's a pretty good safety net, and the Mariners would get a hell of a deal on it if he plays like a stud. Because instead of earning 15, 16 his last couple of years, he's probably going to earn 10, 11, whatever it is. But it's spread out. You start making bigger money earlier on instead of making the league minimum for the next 3 years. So I know we shit on players for taking those deals, but I still think, like you're saying, Trev, you're 21, you get offered that. I just wouldn't add on past arbitration. But if they can buy out the next 5 seasons, it can be a good deal for them. But I understand that thought process both ways.
Or at least make sure you get a real shot at free agency before 30.
Yeah, that's all. Just keep that free agency.
Give him one more year or something.
His eyes and smile in pinstripes. Tigers Royals again. The for the baseball part of it, these two teams have kind of sunk their battleship. But Vinny Pasquantino, I don't know, but my Paisan hit his first career home run. That's exciting. Riley Green, also with the walk-off homer. So some young guys doing their thing. Our guy Scooble has slowed down a lot lately. Hate that for him. And then, something, again, as the trade deadline approaches, Big Mike Pineda, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, returns from the IL. So I think those are the notes, but.
Big Mike Pineda.
I got a Scott Barlow note.
What is it? What could it be? Yeah.
You know how me and Tony Gonson, we worked in the off season. He's become an elite pitcher in the NL. Turns out Scott Barlow out of Golden Valley High School in Santa Clarita. I did not know that my brother was his pitching coach in high school.
Wow.
And he's been kind of nasty. I did not put 2 and 2 together. I remember going and seeing this kid in high school. My brother was like, yeah, he's pretty raw, but he's kind of got some stuff. Come check him out. And I did. And he didn't have long hair back then. Now he's got the flowing locks. And shout out Scott Barlow. We're just putting our fingers all over the Major League Baseball pitchers.
Is your brother still a coach?
A big deal. No, he's not. He sells insurance. So
same thing. Basically.
Those days are behind him.
Life coach.
Yeah.
All right.
Scotty B, my guy.
You want to go to the Interleague? The Interleague had some contenders play. It really did. Oh. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. White Sox swept the Giants. The San Francisco Giants defense did them in. Not good defense by the Giants. White Sox take advantage of it in games 1 and 2. Lance Lynn has his first good start. Worked out of a jam and then settled down. Cease worked out of a jam basically every inning and pitched well enough to get the win in game 2. Wow, look at this. The Giants went Cobb, then Webb in an attempt to shake off the cobwebs. Mm-hmm. Didn't work. They continue to lose. I don't know about these Giants. White Sox trying their best to climb back into the race. The Rangers went to New York to play the Mets. They lost the bread games, won the meat. Perez, 6.2 innings pitched, 3 runs in the win. The Mets, Cookie Carrasco had a nice start, nice bounce-back start for him. Peterson had 10 Ks. They faced our guy Glenn Otto. Rangers, he allowed 4 earned runs. Scherzer's returning. Bassett's still in the COVID IL. DeGrom faced 6 batters in single A. The Mets pitching staff is getting whole, and they've basically survived this stretch while the Braves thrive. So I think they're ready to get back to thriving. The Red Sox and the Cubs played 3 games. The Cubs won game 1. The Cubs won game 2. Bad defense loomed large in this series as well. Basically every error or misplay led to a run. The Red Sox are kind of beat up right now. I think they're going to lose Bogarts for a little bit. The bullpen, I think every game had a reliever give up some runs or something like that. I'm not positive on that, but it was a lot. Alec Mills exited the first inning after 7 pitches for the Cubbies. Bullpen found the rest of the way to get the win. And Red Sox, they went to extras to win it, to salvage it and not get swept. Same thing they did in Toronto. Lose game 1, lose game 2, win game 3 in extras. They got a tough stretch coming up, so I think they got to figure something out and get going again. That's 3 series in the IL. Bow, bow.
Great job, James.
Yeah, I've been saying this like every series, but bad infield defense just is looming large every time I watch a condensed game highlight. It's like, oh, an error to let a guy on, he scores. Like, you loaded the bases here. Oh, okay, pass ball, he scores. So in this game, we had Boston, they walked in a run to make it a 1-run game. They in one of the games there was a misplay, and then no, that's the Giants game. Oh man, I'm blanking on my notes right now. There was a wild pitch to give the Cubs the lead. Devers threw a ball away. The pitcher threw a ball away. It was it's nonstop. It's like the Giants, White Sox was worse. The Giants were really bad. So we can start with Boston and Chicago. The Cubbies playing for fun right now. They win 2. Their bullpen does really well. And maybe the Red Sox should have just snagged some guys to come on the bus because they could use a little relief help, as everyone can. I'm interested to see when the first Cubs trade piece falls because they got some guys that people want. Happer had 3 hits in the game, and Jackie Bradley Jr. broke his 0 for 26 streak with a double. Cubbies take 2 out of 3. You worried for the Red Sox, Jake, as they go into I think their next 14 games are against the Yankees and the Rays?
I wouldn't say worried. I do wonder if, like you said, a little sloppy. I wonder if they, you're playing the Cubs. You've got a big stretch coming up against Tampa and the Yankees. I think maybe you're pretty easy for your head to wander into other places. I'm interested to see, man, as the Yankees and Red Sox, we haven't seen them since the opening series, right?
They came back to New York once, but this weekend 4-game set
first time to Fenway. The last time the Yankees saw the Boston Red Sox, they were one of the worst teams in baseball. They are currently the 3rd best team in the AL right now. So I can't truly feel the vibe. I'm interested to see what goes on in Fenway. And yeah, like you said, the Rays, I told you I think it's significant that their hitting has picked up. And hey, Boston's supposed to get that Chris Sale guy back pretty soon. So what does that mean? So again, it's kind of, I guess, one of the themes of this episode, but what is another half of baseball going to show us about some of these teams? In Boston, I mean, talk about a wild card. Like I couldn't tell you. Are they going to make a big move at the deadline? Do they like what they got? What Chris Sale are they going to get? Did they just put all that first month of baseball in their rear view and they're a fully different team? I don't know. But yeah, tough. Not how Sox fans thought their weekend in Wrigleyville was going to go.
They got all their starters on the IL, and I believe I read that Waka is going to go on the IL and not pitch.
Yes, with dead arm.
With dead arm, which means that Pivetta is the only starter left for them. So that's a tough situation.
Can I do the name game with you guys real quick?
Yeah.
Nick Pivetta, we know that name. Josh Winkowski, Connor Siebold, Cutter Crawford. These are all guys who are starting, like lined up for starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and we should have Eovaldi. I mean, Rich Hill's on the IL now. Eovaldi's on the IL. Chris Sale is coming back a week from today, I think. And they said Whitlock, when he comes back, is going to pitch out of the bullpen. So they got to piece together this. And I read a stat. I don't know where you guys find these like strength of schedule stats, but I heard the Red Sox have by far the hardest. I think somebody tweeted that out. By far the hardest remaining schedule of any team in the big league. So, what's another half going to do for all these teams? We're going to find out from the Red Sox. I mean, we said they'd go as the starting went. The starters actually were surprisingly good, and they came back after that first month, but now we're going to have to fight through some more things. This is going to be a tough stretch for the Red Sox, I think.
Yeah. We're also to the point, Baseball Reference has the strength of schedule stuff like up to this point, and where teams have played enough around the league. Because earlier on, you don't play everyone. Now it's like teams have kind of played everyone once or twice or similar. Yeah, like the hardest strength of schedule is the Blue Jays, but it's 0.4. And the easiest strength of schedule is the Dodgers. It's negative 0.4. So like the gap is like coming together where it doesn't matter that much. So now I just avert my eyes to how do they perform against the good and bad teams. And the Red Sox are a 500 team against teams over 500. So I'm interested to see how they do in this stretch, especially, like Jake noted, the Rays are more whole. Their offense should be coming around.
Wilson Contreras' numbers are entering kind of Looney Tune land. He's a good game away from an OPS in the 9s.
All the Cubs trade pieces are like
Ian
going off.
Happ's numbers are electric on the year, 283, 381, 841. And these Cubbies deserve a little bit of love. They were on one of the worst stretches of baseball, and I think they've won their last 3 series: St. Louis, Cincinnati, and then the Red Sox. So, like, hey, kind of good for you, Cubs.
Yeah. And they're going to trade everyone and see what's going on, but that'll be fun for the rest of the league. Like, Robertson, I think, is still... He needs to be traded. A lot of their relief. Rowan Wick threw a ball away.
Yeah.
Like, that's how the Red Sox won. It was like a fly ball that dropped, just like in this... I don't know if it was a sun ball or what, but dropped and then a hit and then a swinging bunt by Story, I believe, that Rowan Wick threw away and 2 runs scored. That's how they salvaged the series. So, make your throws, players. Go to the Giants, because I got to ask you guys about the San Francisco Giants. They get swept by the White Sox. Good stuff on the White Sox side of the ball. They had 3 good starts. The offense like slowly came alive. They took advantage of bad plays. Like there were misplays in this. In game 1, the run came from an error. They won 1-0. The run came from an error and then a ball hitting third base, like a nice break, and then a hit. And then in game 2, a ball to Belt's right. He just like whiffs on it, and that leads to bases loaded. And then Jock ran in on a liner. I almost saw that one over his head, and that led to the Sox taking the lead. So the Giants looked pretty brutal. They've made other mistakes as well. But the Giants also just aren't good right now. I've been like tiptoeing around this. They fall further behind, and I believe in their last 10 games, where are they? They don't have a winning record like anywhere. They're 2-8 in their last 10, 8-12 in their last 20, 13-17 in the last 30. So they've just been playing losing baseball for a while, consistently playing losing baseball for 30 days.
They got the two top starters. You have Webb and Rodon, and those guys have had good years. But then beyond that, I think that's kind of where I see a problem. I think I always go to starting pitching first when I'm looking at teams. And I mean, nothing really stands out here or impresses you or scares you, I guess you could say, if you're facing the Giants. I don't know what they're going to do, man. You look at the team and you wondered how they won 107 games last year. And we said, okay, we can assume that they're going to kind of do the same thing. They figured something out with these older guys that, we talked about the player development and all this stuff, but they've been kind of reeling here. And I don't know if it's the age is caught up with them or what it is, but I actually had them missing the playoffs. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Preseason. I don't think they get there this year.
I think, we try to measure guys with WAR and different stats and everything. Within this slide, Brandon Crawford has been out. And I think when we talked about the Giants last year, two guys we talked about a lot were Brandon Crawford and Buster Posey. And, they were kind of being solid up until they lost Crawdaddy. And now, I don't know. You're 2 games above 500. You're equidistant from the Snakes as you are the Padres. So, yeah, it's kind of fight or flight time in San Francisco. So, for me, that means schedule watching, Snakes, Padres, Snakes. So,
all right, get back in it.
Turn it
They're
around.
3-11 in the last 14 games.
Not good.
That's not good.
It's tough.
White Sox win. That's good news for them. I don't think it did much for them in the standings, which is interesting. Did it?
Well, this is one of those things where it's kind of lucky we're recording the day after, because I believe they ended up losing yesterday.
Okay.
Otherwise, probably be peacocking a little. Yeah, they lost to Trev's Twins yesterday. So otherwise would be peacocking a little harder for the White Sox. A nice sweep. That's kind of, like you said, it's their formula. Really good starting pitching. On the road in San Fran, I know they're struggling, but still, that's not a series you mark down with the broomstick. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tony is old.
Well, the Mets and the Rangers play 3, and the Mets win 2 out of 3. I got to say, the Mets, I know the Braves have been sneaking up on them, and the Braves have been sneaking up on them, but the Mets went through the Rangers aren't part of this, but a pretty tough schedule with a really banged up staff. I mean, this is the Mets IL pitchers. Chris Bassett, Jacob deGrom, Tyler McGill, Max Scherzer, and, Joey Lucchesi. So they're getting some of them are coming back, and that'll be big. They win the series against the Rangers. They're getting it done. Eddie Escobar changed belts, hits a home run in every game. He's got a new belt on,
yes,
the Puerto
he did.
Rican belt. So he's a superstitious guy. So I think the Braves will catch him. I think it's going to be a close race. I don't think at some point, I think the Braves catch him and then the Mets catch them. And I think it's going to go back and forth. It's going to be really fun. But I'm not really shitting on the Mets. Like they've been so banged up and they're still surviving and winning. It's going to be fun to see if Scherzer and DeGrom come back.
I love the Mets. We need to see DeGrom. Remember, like, what he was doing last year before he went down was like all-time stuff. Need to see that guy back. And, the rehab start you guys mentioned, struck out 5. He hit the other guy with like a slider on the foot. Probably would have struck him out too. I mean, it's single A batters against Jacob deGrom, so you can expect that. But, getting Scherzer back and DeGrom still being in first place. C-Rose asked me today, like, if I think the Braves still have what it takes to catch him. I don't know. It's a very you can't really answer that because the Braves are playing so well. And the Mets have just done it so long without these guys, and you're getting 2 of the top starters in baseball back. Like, that's just kind of crazy. So you have to say the Mets are going to me, in my mind, you have to say the Mets are going to be there at the end, because if they continue to play they were playing, and then you add these 2 guys, I mean, there's not anybody else in baseball that you can add that brings what Jacob deGrom can bring. And then you add in Max Scherzer too. I mean, if you're Mets fans, you got to be very, very happy that you are where you're at without these 2 guys, and now you get them back. So it's party time. It's party time for the Mets fans.
A good late night convo with the Roogie and the Loogie, Peter Moylan and Jerry Blevins, who they both like their team, and that's kind of the beauty of baseball. Mets Braves is going to be.
Do they have a series at the end where it could, determine it?
Final series of the year check. Now we're talking. Okay, we got 3.
It's not. There's Miami that ends at Miami, but right before that they do play each other for the Braves at least.
Yeah, they've got 3 games: the 30th, the 1st, and the 2nd. The second to last series that counts.
Well, they got a
lot of games in August.
A lot of games in August, yeah.
I mean,
I woke up to the Roogie and the Loogie chat. It was a nice thing to wake up to.
Gentle.
Yeah. They like their teams. The Mets bullpen's too specialist. That was my only ad.
Yeah.
They need a guy that can get both arms out. I know they got Diaz at the end, but they got 2 lefties they like using that can get lefties out, and they got 2 righties they like using that can get righties out. And they all have, like, Ottavino and Drew have bad splits against lefty hitters, and then Chase and Shreve and Joely have bad splits against righty hitters, and it's like, this kind of going to suck in the playoffs when a team can use their pinch hitters and lefty-righty you. Can't really hide. But they can just trade for someone, so it's not really that damning. All right, let's get to the second half of the show. Give out some awards, some standouts. You guys ready for that?
Think so.
Yes.
You want to bet on it?
I will bet on some of it, not all of it.
DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Yeah. New customers can bet just $5 on any game. Pick a game, any game. If you bet $5, you will get $150 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. If you're looking to get into it, people, DraftKings, they are giving you a really good offer. And, hey, if your same game parlay doesn't hit, you can get a free bet back up to $10. So that's, you're betting with free money there. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code JOHNBOY. New customers can make any $5 MLB bet and get $150 in free bets back no matter what. That's promo code JOHNBOY, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. MLB trademarks used with permission. Yeah. Serious
stuff. Jake, Trevor goes first.
Yep.
Trev?
I have my guy. I want to make sure. I did this 2 nights ago. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. I got to update my stats on this guy. My standout performance is going to Christian Walker of Jake's Snakes. And let me tell you why, people. He had a game, went 2 for 2 with 2 homers and a walk. I like highlighting him a little bit because he's one of those guys. 207 batting average, but his OPS, at the time I wrote it was 797, went down to 791. He's been worth 2.8 B WAR. He's playing a stellar first base, so some of that is defense there. He's got 21 homers on the year. He's got a pretty swing. We don't talk about him a lot. I just think that, 21 homers, 42 RBIs at the halfway point. It's a pretty good season for this guy. He's ARB eligible again next year, so he's going to get a nice little chunk of change. He's making 2.6 this year, so that'll at least double going into next year. I don't know. I like highlighting guys that don't get highlighted all the time, and the numbers getting past the batting average are pretty dang good. So shout out Christian Walker on Jake Snakes, 31 years old. Old for the game.
Stud.
Shout out.
Nice swing, too. It's the shit out of the ball when he hits it.
Pop. Not that ploof juice. Trev, I'm going in a slightly different way. My standout performer is Jeremy Pena of your Houston Astros, the young shortstop. He put up a 4 for 5 with 2 homers and 3 RBI. The second homer was a walk-off. They won 4-2, so he scored approximately responsible for 75% of the runs. Math pod. I mentioned to you guys Julio Rodriguez before. 15 homers, 20 stolen bases. The OPS is coming up. He's at a 3.5 WAR this year. Jeremy Pena is also at a 3.5 WAR this year, with about 80 less at bats.
Nice.
So, I also talk about the Houston Astros lineup and, that top 6 or 7 that makes them so diffy. I haven't even gotten a full dose of Jeremy Pena yet. When the Yankees played, he was hitting 6, and he had just gotten banged up. He was hitting 2-hole throughout the whole Angels series. So that 4 for 5 and walk-off game winner. To hit 2 holes is a big deal. The Yankees, they had Judge there for so long. They prize that as the place you should have your best hitter. He's squeezing in between Altuve and Alvarez. So pretty nuts what this kid's doing, Trev. I know you got the juice early on when you heard the term superstar. And the way the kid moves defensively is why he got that as well. So not a bad day at the office for Jeremy Pena.
Good job. Jeremy Pena.
Yeah.
Boromir is how I said that name when I was a little kid before they sent me to the trailer.
Okay.
My standout performer?
Yes.
Not on the list curated for us because not a traditional standout performer. I'm going a little roundabout here. I'm going Mark Leiter Jr. Want to know why?
Oh, yeah.
Because Alec Mills got hurt after 7 pitches, and he got the call like, hey, dude, we need you.
Game time.
We need the next 60 pitches. That's kind of his limit where he was at because he's been in the bullpen. We need him. 3 days rest. Give us 60 pitches. Hopefully you can get us pretty deep into this game because we're out a starter. He goes 5.1, 1 earned run to keep the game in line and help the Cubs get the win and save the bullpen moving forward. That's a pretty big task to just, not be prepped. Go ask any starting pitcher what they do to prep for a game, and it's like some weirdo bullshit Daniel Day-Lewis method acting shit. Not Mark Leiter Jr., just tapped in. He needed to get some quick outs. Red Sox gave him a lot of quick outs at the end. So I was impressed by that when I saw it and when I was doing my IL. So I think that notches up on my standout. That I was like, oh man, to just grab and go. 57 pitches, 3 hits, only 1 walk, was putting them in the zone, getting quick outs. Good job by Mark Leiter Jr.
Nice, Jim.
Yeah.
I have a tidbit on Mark Leiter Jr.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's time.
I'm going to make this about me. You know, I never
Trevor's
talk about
tidbits.
myself. I never talk about myself and what I used to do, 106 homers in the show. I never talk about myself. My last ever professional home run, Phillies spring training 2019, bro. Mark Leiter Jr. Thank you very much, Mark.
Damn.
You're in my book forever.
Damn.
Former teammate of mine, too.
I didn't bring him up for that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Mark.
Mark.
If you're listening. It's brutal.
Is it a pretty one, at least?
It was right after the Phillies told me I needed to be more aggressive in hitters counts, specifically 2-1 and 1-0. And I got to 1-0 against him. And I just said, I'm fucking swinging no matter what. And I hit a home run. So
That's
good job by the Phillies analytical division.
That is a good job by them. Really good job.
You would be Christian Walker right now.
I love Christian Walker's swing. I do. So what? So what doesn't get on base? I didn't get on base either. Okay. We slug though. We slug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I bet.
Slump Watch.
Go quickly through this. Come on, guys.
We get anyone hot? Looks like we got Santiago Espinal hot.
That's good.
We
He
didn't
was
do
in a funk.
We didn't do it last week, so these are 2 series. So we gave him extra time to get off of the slump. 9 for 27, a homer, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs. That's a 379 on base, a 519 slugging. Santiago Espinal, you're off, and you're welcome. Nolan Gorman. Surprised he was even on here because every time I check out the Cardinals, the Nolans are hitting. 3 for 11 with a homer and a double. Missed most of the Marlins series last week, but returned this weekend. So that's why there's not that many at bats. Let's take him off.
He's off. Homer, double, 3 walks. Hell yeah.
AJ Pollock, 3 for 16, a walk, 6 Ks. Misses the Dodgers, I think.
I think so too. And there's kind of the whole White Sox and Tony. I think he stays. He's our friend.
Not Trev's friend.
Not Trevor's friend.
No.
He's my friend.
Okay. Who was it? Who's that robot? Who's talking? 167 batting average for JP Crawford. He goes 2 for 12.
My friend.
Is he serving his suspension? Missed the A's series this weekend, but returned yesterday for start of the Padres series. Let's let JP get out of this.
Yeah, let him cook.
Yeah. And then your guy, Jake Cronenworth. 6 for 25, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 walks. That's no, it's not good.
It's not where he wants to be.
Slash line's not good.
It's not where he wants to be.
See the new options and make a decision. He wouldn't be off with claps if he's off.
Mike Trout, 0 for 11, 9 Ks. Houston, they even have him?
He wasn't one of the 4 Angels that got hits?
Sheesh. Sheesh.
Astros did that to Trout? 0 for 11 with 9 Ks?
Did they throw it down the middle? Isn't that the Mike Trout secret?
It's middle in. A lot of batters, but
right in the middle.
Yeah. Damn, man.
Oh, my God. Trev's guy, Matt Chapman, 0 for 10. I don't like this.
Bobby Witt Jr., 0 for 12.
Oh, my God. Max Kepler? This is like...
Joey Votto, 0 for 9. I mean, Mike Trout's on. He didn't even walk, man. What's happened, Trouter?
Trouty.
Dude, I think he might ask out. He's officially done with the Angels.
Him and Shohei. Get out of there. Here's some light giggling from Cabo.
I'm putting Bobby Witt on, and then I don't care what you do the rest. I put Trout and Bobby Witt on. I mean, he's a rookie. I want him to persevere.
That's 5.
And overcome it.
We're home.
You don't want those guys over Cronenworth or Crawford or anything?
Let's put Matt Chapman on for Trev over Cronenworth. Cronenworth did some stuff.
Okay.
Matt Chapman had a little bit of a heater, so going 0 for 10, I don't like that.
Okay. Sorry, Cap and Votto. You're not getting fixed.
Dirt nasty's En Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Wabada. Trev, 4 guys hit 3 home runs over the weekend. 4 of them. Nolan Arenado, heard of him?
Yep.
7 for 13, 3 homers, a triple, a double, and he got hit by a pitch. Justin Turner, he went 6 for 12. That's 500 with 2 walks and 3 homers. Michael Perez, in your book, Jake?
He is.
5 for 11, 3 homers, 5 RBIs. Eddie Escobar got the new belt. Jake, not familiar with him. 4 for 11. Austin Riley also goes 6 for 12. He hits 2 homers, 2 doubles, 2 walks. Chaz with an S. McCormick. Too many C's in that name for Jake. He doesn't like it. 5 for 10, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 2 walks. And our guy, Julio. We talked about him enough. CJ Cron talked about him. Freight Train Peralta, 4 for 10 with 2 homers. On fire. Congrats to them.
Love David Peralta.
That was all his daughter, painting his nails. I told you guys that.
Thanks, David Peralta's daughter.
Paint your nails, change your belt, hit homers.
Do a little Metro baseball. Jock Peterson with the pearls. We'll start painting nails. Let's go. Come on, baseball.
Kelsey?
Somewhere the Rays bullpen freaks out.
Ooh. Trav, you got an award?
I'm going to give this award in Jet because I think I've been ruining this show today with my internet, Cabo internet. Not sure what's going on here. I'm not going to do a Tolkien baseball, but I'm going to talk about one player and then relate him to a character in The Lord of the Rings.
Much different than Tolkien. Much different than Tolkien.
So
baseball.
Different.
I'm going to talk about Byron Buxton and his last 162 games. I got this tweet sent to me actually today. Last 162. I'm going to call this I don't know.
Okay.
Not the king, but you don't get anywhere without him award.
Okay.
Okay. I think there's some other people that you would say are the best players in baseball. Before you had mentioned Byron Buxton's name, he'd be in the conversation, no doubt. People would cite his health and some other things, maybe like some years at the beginning of his career they would cite. I think most people would say Mike Trout is the king. He's Aragorn. Okay, maybe Shohei Ohtani is Aragorn. Maybe he's Sauron. Maybe Shohei is an evil guy we don't even know yet. We'll find that out later in his career. But Byron Buxton, I think, is more of like a Legolas type guy, where would the fellowship be without Legolas? And in fact, if I put Byron in that world, I feel like he fits mostly with the elves. The way he moves, the quickness, some of the magic that he brings on the field. I think he's like an elf. Over his last 162, 52 homers, 99 ribbies, 603 slugging for a 920 OPS, 152 OPS plus, 9.3 WAR for Byron Buxton. I don't know if that's F or B WAR because the guy didn't put it in there. Byron Buxton is an absolute stud. You love to see him healthy. Where would the Twins be without Buxton? I don't know. Where they wouldn't have signed Carlos Correa. They wouldn't be in first place in the AL Central. Like, Byron, you're that guy. And the magic that he created, I'll go one step further with him. I have it up here. It's the first ever in the history of baseball 8-5 triple play. How about that? I don't know what happened with the White Sox base runners right there. That was like the worst I've ever seen. But to do something that's never been done in the history of baseball sounds about right for Byron Buxton. You are what's the award again? Yeah. Not the king, but where will we be without you? Award goes to Byron Buxton.
I'll say something. I'm not trying to be controversial. I think Byron Buxton, when healthy, is a top player in baseball. I agree with that. I don't think he has the name recognition at all yet. I think if anyone that's listening that is not in the AL Central, think about asking your dad who follows baseball, or your uncle that follows baseball, someone that's not on the internet, to name, hey, dad, hey, uncle, can you name top 5 players that aren't on our favorite team? Do you think, like, Byron Buxton would get said? Or, like, top 10? Like, I don't think he's got name recognition outside the Central at all yet because he just needs to put it together for, like, multiple full seasons. I'm not saying his talent's not amazing, but I don't know. You said that people would name him, and I just don't think he would get named. I don't think my dad knows who he is.
I think he'd be surprised. He shows up on a lot of highlights, so I think because of that, like, people do know who he is. I mean, Platinum Glove winner, can, hit bombs with the power that he has. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really partial to him because I've seen him progress and grow into the player he is now. But I mean, those stats are undeniable through his last 162. Yes, he needs to play 162 in a year. I get that.
There's guys that have played healthy and been good that don't have name recognition in baseball. It's a tough sport to do that in.
Yeah, I guess that's where, when you're phrasing that as name recognition, is that amongst real baseball fans? Because I think, a lot of people in our office who are baseball junkies, I think, would say.
But they're all young on the internet. I'm talking to get past that. Because, yes, all his highlights are everywhere.
That's a whole nother discussion because you're right. How many players are getting named anyways? Trout and Ohtani?
I guess
I think
my more overall point is if he isn't the player he is and has the year that he has last year. Okay, I know it was cut short, but the Twins bank on him to give him the contract extension. They wouldn't have went out and got Carlos Correa. Like, they wouldn't have went out and tried to do that and like go all in and kind of, we'll see what they do at the deadline. But they did that because they have a guy like Byron Buxton and they want to build around him. So he's like, Carlos Correa says this is Byron Buxton's team, and that's probably because he's only going to be there for 1 year. But I don't know, man.
He's a stud.
Buck is stud.
I'd like his name to be known anywhere. It just piqued my interest of, like, how well is he known? Because I don't know.
Sure.
Playoffs help. That's the other thing. Like all the Astros probably get named because, like, Correa, Springer, Altuve, because they've just been deep. Dodgers, being in the playoffs helps get that name recognition a ton. Jake?
James, Trev, giving out a very prestigious award. I'm giving out the Auntie and Uncle Rick Award. Trev, you had mentioned someone earlier in the show. It might have been your standout. I think it was when you were talking about Christian Walker, and you're like, a guy we might not talk about a lot on my Snakes. Interesting season he's having. We hit the halfway point of the season, right? I'm going to win horse this whole thing. No. My Auntie Ree and Uncle Rick, for those that know, my Auntie Ree is my mother's sister. She married Uncle Rick. They lived in the D.C. area for a while. Where they took me to Camden Yards, my first ever time there. Saw Orioles-Yankees game, I believe. Ted Lilly autographed baseball, not a big deal. My Uncle Rick, huge Pittsburgh Pirates fan. They're retired right around their spring training facility. They head over there a lot. Two teams that we don't talk about a lot. When we have, we've been giving them just a little pat on the butt and keep it moving. I'm going Orioles and Pirates. We were at the midway point in the season, and these two teams that have been kind of laughing stocks around baseball the past couple years, the Orioles are 37-44. That is the same record as the Angels. I know they're in a death spiral now, but the Orioles, their bullpen is really strong this year. They're 4th in ERA. They've got a top half of their lineup. They deserve some love. And then Pittsburgh, they've just been chilling at 3rd in the Central. It's 32-47. I still think their record on the year isn't going to be pretty, but at least O'Neal Cruz is up there. The product is so much better. They just split 4 with the Brew Crew, and we were just like, all right. Last year, I think we'd be shitting down the Brewers' throats. Whoa, Jake. End of a family episode. But midway point of the season, I want to give both those teams some love because there have been franchises that have been much, much worse than them this baseball season. And they're still kind of the two stereotypical teams that I think if people were throwing jabs at, they would. Pirates are a fun watch now. O'Neal Cruz, my God. Brian Reynolds. Key Bryan. It looks like they're starting to show some signs. And the Orioles are just pesky, like you said. So a little love to a couple of the formerly dwellers, still kind of dwellers.
The dwellers.
Dwellers.
Did Trev leave?
He stood up, so I roboted him just in case.
Okay.
Lean her out. What do you got, Jim?
Well, I might save my award if Trev's not here. Because it has to do with defensive metrics, which we've talked about, and we've talked about this before, and we talked about this in the office once because people were talking about defensive metrics, and Trea Turner just came out, and they asked him why his defensive metrics look better now, and he said, because I moved 3 steps forward, and now the algorithm likes me more. And I just, Dodgers fans, has his defense been noticeably better or worse because of this change? Because the way Trea's talking about it, he's basically like, I'm just playing this is his quote, all I had to do was play 3 feet closer and the algorithm liked me more. I could be better. Guys are better than me. I'm not saying I'm a Gold Glover, but I always wondered why they were better than me. It was kind of all based on the information I've gotten the last 3 months. The only thing that I could figure out is that I needed to make the play going in. And if I scoop it up and make the plays, I'm as good as them, I guess. That's the answer I came up with. I don't know if it's right. I'm still debating it. But now his defensive metrics look better. And we've talked about this, Trev, about how people have reached out to Mark Simon. People have reached out to the guys who run these algorithms. And third baseman can game the algorithm by standing a little bit closer to third because then they don't miss any balls to their right. And the defensive algorithm says, oh, that guy's nasty. He doesn't miss any balls to his right. And is the defense actually better, or are we literally appeasing computers because teams are paying out based on these defensive metrics? Like we heard JBJ, who's a phenomenal center fielder in the middle of being one of the best center fielders. He reached out to Mark Simon, was like, dude, how do I make the numbers respect what I'm actually doing? And he had to change where he stood because the algorithm. So should I be as mad at the defensive metrics as I want to be here? Did this, and I'm asking Dodgers fans, did this actually make him a better shortstop, or are we just appeasing the robots that the front offices have decided that they're going to go with. Defensive metrics seem like a crock of shit.
This maybe it should have been saved for like a midweek episode because there's a lot to dive into here. I think it's a little bit of both, James, where you are appeasing, the algorithm. But, when you think about, what you do for a team, like say, for instance, my thing at third base, playing down the line, saving some extra base hits, obviously that's going to help, prevent runs. And that's all you're trying to do as a defensive unit. So that something like that makes sense to me, like him coming in on the ball so he can get more balls hit in front of him. To me, that would cut off his range a little bit. And I don't know how many like ground balls like hitting the infield really affect, runs. So that's strange to me. This has been a conversation going on for years, though. It was like Adam Jones and Kevin Kiermaier and all these dudes would talk like, if you play deep in the outfield, you're going to win the Gold Glove in center field instead of playing in and trying to come and get balls. So it's been a talk for a long time, and Mark Simon has helped a ton of people. So we should kind of shout him out. Like, dude, he helped me, Happer, JBJ, and I guess more and more guys have been reaching out to him. I told him he needs to start charging a fee or at least some sort of consulting business. But dude, we can go on this forever. I was talking about this, with Manfred and the owners. Like, we are appeasing analytics because that's who pays us. You put all these people in place in positions of power, and they tell you they're paying you for homers and they're paying for pitchers to strike people out. So guess what's going to happen? Guys are going to try to hit homers and guys are going to try to strike people out. Now that's made the game for some unwatchable. And you have these owners now trying to put in things to speed the game up and to get more balls in play, but they're paying guys to do the exact opposite. So it's going to come to a head at some point. But as long as we have analytics and we have, data like this, like you're going to see guys doing simple stuff like that to try to appease it, because in the end, you'd rather see a positive, defensive run save or, positive UZR, and because you're going to get paid for it. I mean, guys literally make careers, playing good defense, having good defensive numbers. Think about all the fucking catchers that are sticking around because, Maldonado's hitting 1-something, but he can handle a staff and frame some pitches. Like, there's a lot of things going on in the game, but I agree with you. The defensive metrics are iffy at best. I guess that's my stance.
It seems silly that center fielders that can go back and get it, so they play a little in, are getting penalized for their skill. And now they're having to. Yeah. All right.
It's like a lot of things in life, I think the answer lies somewhere in the middle. We just don't know where. Like the Trea Turner example, is it if him playing deep only allows him to cut off X amount of balls, but him playing in allows him to get a couple more choppers or something like that? I don't know. Is that actually valuable to the team? Is it all a math equation that's getting fucked up by expected batting average? Couple curses from me at the end of the app. All right. Is it, a tapper to short has an expected batting average of 181, but a line drive up the middle has an expected batting average of 540, so Trea Turner doesn't get as penalized for the 540 than he does the 181? I have no idea. I'm not smart enough. I think people would be shocked. I think a lot of the people that have the answers or are grading this out aren't too far off from being able to have a conversation with us. And like we always say, the metrics are continuing to evolve. They evolve and change every year. At the end of this season, we will hear, we just updated the defensive metrics and Arenado graded out better. And it's like, no shit. So you got to trust your eyes a little bit. And Trev, you mentioned our guy Ian Happ. We know he looked into it because look at the season and career Ian Happ is having. He's a career 810 OPS guy. If Ian Happ grades out as a slightly above average defender with his hitting ability, that's a 9-figure dude. If Ian Happ grades out negative defensively with his hitting ability, like he'd be looking at those like 1 year kind of Jock Peterson type contracts. So now we're talking about where you're starting your feet, beginning a play, depending, how many zeros in a guy's bank account. It it gets
Doesn't
messy.
That make sense when you say it like that? Like where you decide to play. Yeah, positioning does matter in a baseball game. So that
Always
does
has.
make sense to me. But, I guess usually it makes sense to me. The Trea Turner stuff doesn't make sense to me, like just thinking about it in my head. But I'll say this. If you made it through this episode and got through me having this bad internet, tag your favorite player if he stinks defensively and say, ask Trevor, or just go straight to Mark Simon, because this dude is crowning guys out there in the field. He's making you better and all you have to do is have like a 20-minute phone conversation with him. Like you're saying, Ian Happ could go from $100 million dude, or he could be, a 1-year, $10 million dude. And, the difference is him having a conversation with the guy. Like, just do it, people. Just do it.
Just do it. All right. Who's our best friend of the week?
Our best friend of the week is Max Fried. 7 innings, 1 earned, 4 Ks, 5 hits. Didn't walk one guy.
Damn.
His 4th. He is the most best friend of the week nods this year.
Way to be.
He better be at our party.
Way to be. Elevator talk. As we get out of here. Spin the wheel.
Got my salad coming up the elevator right now.
Ooh.
You heard that right, Trev. Salad.
I didn't even have the chat up this whole episode. I feel like naked, bro. I don't like it.
Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians.
Oh.
We're on the elevator. A guy walked in. He had a Guardians hat on. We said, wow, new hat, huh? He said, no, this is old. You said, oh, you're a liar.
You're lying. They just changed their team name. Jim, you know where I'd start? I'd say, you know what? He just had a nice weekend. He had a horrible first half of the season. Can big Franmil Reyes get it going? Hit a couple ding-dongs against the Yankees. I love me a meal of Franmil. I think that'd be my I think he's going to have a big second half.
Okay, I like that.
Soft AL Central. You mentioned how limp the AL Central is, and if they just get hard, they can, run right through it, if you know what I mean.
I don't know.
Interested in that.
Not sure.
Tristan McKenzie's good, and curveballs are fun to watch. So fun curveballs, fun to watch. He shut down the Yankees. His only bad starts are against the Twins this year, I believe. They're the only ones that get him. And he's also going to be in our ping pong tournament coming up. Trev plays, I play, Tristan McKenzie plays. Me and Tristan were the first matchup in round 1.
Whoa.
Short wingspan versus long. Jake sucks.
Excuse me?
Tanner Tully.
Careful with that.